Hello folks, welcome to SS2. Excuse my nose, I've got sinus problems and all other kinds of things which I could tell you about at some point. Many afflictions, along with my colleague Dave here, who's got probably more than me I think, but hey. We've been doing a number of videos with Nigel, one of the SS2 members, at his flat in Whitehaven, to do with independent living, and we're looking at the kind of care that people would expect and require that would enable an effective care service. So we've got with us today, we've got Gary Crichton, we've got Lucy, we've got Nigel, and we've got Dave, who's with Gary, and Trey, obviously, who's chicking out and doing the intro because she's not well. Dave, should we mention our afflictions and then she might feel a bit better?
We've only got 10 minutes. That's 8 minutes.
So we
couldn't get anything else on, would we?
Oh, so we'll be safe.
So we're just going to, over 10 minutes before we have our lunch, we're just going to have a chat about what kinds of criteria, what kinds of things make a good care service, and the kind of things that don't provide a good care service, the things that would impact on that. I'm going to begin with Trey, says I should chicken out of the intro. Trey, what would you say are the major components that make up a good care service and the provision that's provided from that care service?
I think one of the things that's important is the relationship between the care workers and the clients. I think that is important, and it should be prioritised as such, because you're not going to find out what a client needs in regard to the care unless you build up that relationship, because they're not going to open up and they're not going to be comfortable enough to express how they feel.
So that relationship is crucial right throughout the care service?
Yes, definitely.
And is that from management, from support workers, from supervisors,
right through,
deputy managers? Right
through. The client who's in the care should feel comfortable with everybody that's in that company they're exposed to. So if a management comes to see a client, they need to be comfortable with that person. They need to know they can trust them and everything's okay, not feel intimidated or anything like that. So everybody has to be involved in building up those relationships.
Good point, Trey. That's a very good point. In fact, I think it's crucial in any corporation, organisation, industry, or whatever that you've got that. I know it's idealistic, but it can work.
Yeah.
It's been proven it works in a number of places, not least of which Virgin at the outset. They had that particular way of working, where Branson was seen to be part of the shop floor sometimes, and he went around to meet people and made himself known, things like that. And I know the Japanese are a big proponents of that. They spend time with people in those industries trying to find out the kind of things that are going on, and if people are happy and if it's working okay. So yeah, that's a good point. Gary, what do you think makes up a good care service, a good care provider? The kind of things that you've experienced, that you thought are good. What would you say?
A good relationship with staff, so.
Absolutely, that's crucial. Mr. Trey mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Now, what else would you expect from that service, Gary? What other things are important to you in relation to service and what you'd expect from your service?
Make sure that you're doing things that you're happy with. Yep.
So how would people find that out, Gary, then? How would management or staff find out if you were happy or unhappy, or the kind of things you require? How would people find that out? Or how would you expect them to find that out? What would you like them to do?
By talking to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, if we look at, in the world of counselling, it's called therapeutic relationship, where you build up a rapport with someone, and there's like a mutual respect and trust and understanding, which I think is crucial in whatever you do. So, if we look at, Gary, a scenario where you and Dave go to say Eric's. Yeah? What is it that Dave does that enables you to have a positive experience when you're at Eric's? What is it that Dave does or doesn't do that helps you to be you?
Let's be himself with her. Yeah. But to look at the titles of the episodes of DVDs that he's done. Yeah.
So when you and Dave are there, yeah, together,
Yeah.
and Dave doesn't intrude, he lets you be yourself,
Yeah.
is that crucial for everybody within the service?
Yeah.
Fair point?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know that Dave doesn't intrude on yourself, and I also know certain other people actually do intrude.
Yeah.
It's intrusive, and I know that affects you,
Yeah.
and you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and if a client's not themselves or not allowed to be themselves, then they get unhappy. Nigel, what do you think makes up? Because we've just been doing this, so you should have a good armoury of things that you know makes up a good care provider. Thanks, Gary. Mm-hmm.
Talking to people, having a crack with people about what I feel and stuff.
Yeah, because Gary mentioned that before, didn't he?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's important, Nigel?
So you know if there's any thing wrong or something, or anything that's not right, or if you're happy or you're unhappy.
So what if it's somebody that you don't know and they've been sent along to have a crack with you because someone said that you're unhappy? Are you more likely to tell them or tell someone that you've got along with for quite a while?
Well, they tell the other side, question you. Tell people you know.
Yeah, because quite often people are put in situations in PCPs and things like that where there's people who they don't get along with.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a crucial thing they've got to deal with. They're less likely to come forward and say something. So again, there's an onus on a service to make sure that that's in place.
Yeah.
And like you said before, Trey, it should go right the way through.
Well, yes, I mean, I understand about management being busy because obviously they've got their own things they need to do to try and keep the, organisation going. But they should be communicating with the staff, and then they should be making themselves regularly known to the clients. You know, so say for instance, a staff member says, "Oh, such and such has difficulties." Can they come down and they talk? You know, they're involved in some way, or even if it's just they've got a bit of spare hour and then popping in for a cuppa and saying how everybody is in a, you know, say a block of flats or with clients in, just so the client knows these people, you know, who they are. It's regularly done. It shouldn't just be one manager either. It should be blanketed right across.
No, I agree, Trey. And you know, I mean, we've got two people, Nigel and Gary, who brought that self-serve thing up. So it might be quite simplistic to the people, but actually it's crucial for any care provider or any kind of industry or company or whatever. I know the Japanese, they say that when you have a staff team, that staff team should interact with the general manager the same way as they interact with the cleaner.
Yeah.
There should be no difference. You know, they shouldn't think, oh God, general managers come equipped me to start polishing things and doing stuff. It should be the same right across the board.
Yeah.
And what they believe is that general manager, although they've probably got more responsibility, they are no more important than the person cleaning the offices afterwards.
Well, it's approachability as well.
Yeah.
Well, I won't actually mention any names, but
No, don't, Dave.
it isn't in our sort of industry. It's in another industry. But this person I know, she works at a high-powered sort of place, and it's been said and it's been done for years. Any of the top bosses come in, everybody acts like scared rabbits in a bloody headlight. She said, but she just treats them as normal. She'll ask them what's crack, do you want a cup of coffee? And they're actually over the moon with that, because the person's talking to them as though they're a normal person, which they are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We are approachable. We're not these high-powered people, and everybody's got to be frightened of us. So she sort of opened a bit of a door for people to actually treat them as people, which is they're actually lightening up as well. So it has to work two ways.
Absolutely, it's a good point, David. And of course, if it doesn't work, it's going to impact on the people in your service.
Yeah.
And if you run a service through fear,
Yeah.
You can bet your bottom dollar you've got unhappy staff
unhappy
and
staff, yeah.
unhappy clients, and that's pretty well documented, isn't it?
You've got to know the guidelines. You've got to know the line between being the boss and being a friend and being a colleague.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If you can define that, it's a winner. But if you've got this big wide line that they're the boss and we're the minions, it's not going to work.
And it's been proven it doesn't work as well,
Yeah.
because many industries and many companies and many care providers have gone to the wall for just that.
Yeah.
As a manager, especially a general manager, you've got a massive responsibility to make sure that you're not unapproachable.
Yeah.
You don't rule with a rod of fear.
No,
because that actually emanates down to the clients. You've got an unhappy staff team. And quite often that causes division between the staff team because someone's probably trying to buddy up with the person as the bully.
Yeah.
And most bad managers are bullies.
Yes, and I've worked in different kinds of organisations over the years, and the best managers and directors were the ones that when clients or customers come in, they walk them through and they'll stop and have a crack and talk with them and how you doing, and so I haven't seen you for such and such, and it makes it more personable.
Yeah.
So everybody's more relaxed.
And there's a I can't remember the exact words, but if you have a good relationship and a happy sort of farm, that person will do that extra mile.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Whereas I know again I've had this in another thing. The management team sort of cracked down on actually certain things. So we fought back if somebody come in at 5 o'clock wanting to bolt your arse, said sorry, we'll be going home.
Yeah.
So it works. It's got to work 2 ways, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, what's so funny is they send people off on team building courses as well. But fundamentally, if you get that part right, you just mentioned, you don't need team building exercises because it just works.
It does, yeah.
And of course, obviously, Nigel and Gary, Lucy not so well today, so she won't be inputting. If you're in the environment and it's happy, and people are interacting with you in a positive way, is that good care?
Yeah.
Is that how it should be all the time?
Yeah.
People come on shift, say for instance in the shift working system, and somebody's coming on, and it's so and so's coming on, can sit and have a crack and a good laugh or whatever, still get your care provision. And then there's people who don't try to build that relationship up.
Yeah.
They follow the directives of bullies, and then the client feels what? They know this person's coming on, they know they're going to be difficult. How are you going to feel? Gary, someone's coming on and you haven't got the relationship with, how are you going to feel?
Happy.
Not very good.
Unhappy in there.
And is there any room for that in care?
No.
No, and I mean, we're trying to change perspective here because you don't have to tolerate bad care. And it's not just about support workers, it's the whole broadband of things. Everybody involved in the organisation has a responsibility to make sure that care is being provided properly. We know from experience in our recent interaction with people, it's almost like, should be done there.
Yeah, it's kind of like swept to one
Hope
side.
it goes away.
I think as well, what happens within the staff teams and directors and managers, if that doesn't work, it has an impact because the staff are actually being put under pressure and not made to feel comfortable themselves, so they can't actually do their jobs as well as they would like. Because they may be ill, they may be suffering from stress and anxiety in themselves because the management and the directors are putting that stress on them.
Yeah, and then there's a stress audit. Remember the old stress audit that came in the 80s, I think it was? Oh yeah, we're going to sort this out, we're going to have a stress audit. I don't remember one that worked.
I've never had one. I've never been anywhere worse than
when I worked for Allerdale, they had one. Only to find out that what everybody had said was true. So what they did was nothing. So all the people who brought it forward, whistleblowers, actually ended up leaving.
Yeah.
It was around about the time when that problem was going on with the timeshares. It was riddled with corruption and serious kind of goings on. So I learnt a lot from that because I actually thought this is good. because people are frightened of certain people, and this might sort it out. No. So if you're going to whistleblow, folks, just get another job because you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
Most whistleblowers that do blow the whistle end up getting marginalised and pushed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You're a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, to round off, Gary,
Yeah.
if you had a complete choice, and obviously I'm saying this, but you should have a complete choice, right, of the kind of service that you would like,
Yeah.
would it reflect the situation when Dave and yourself go to Eric's? Is that how it should work? You and Dave go to Eric's
Yeah.
and you have a good time,
Yeah.
and Dave's providing you care,
Yeah.
right? Is that how it should work?
Yeah.
And what would happen then if you don't have that? How are you with that?
Other people don't do that.
So what we're talking about here is
Yeah.
consistency, aren't we? So you require consistency in your care provision.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Nige, would you reflect that as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why isn't it happening in a lot of situations? That's the last question I'm going to ask you. So why is it still going on then? Why is poor care still being provided?
I feel it's because what's going wrong is people aren't actually possibly not knowing how to give good care, or proper care. There's maybe the skills aren't there for everybody in the organisation, and maybe the management don't have the proper management skills to be able to make sure that's all right, and also the people skills. You're dealing with vulnerable adults, so where's the training and the understanding of that as well? There's so much involved in that, and you don't seem to hear about training anymore or any kind of skills when people are taken on. There's no experience. Maybe years ago when I went for jobs, you had to have a certain amount of experience before you went for the job, and that doesn't seem to happen now.
No, I mean my old mate he's still alive actually, I think. He said to me, social care has become a dumping ground for anybody.
Yeah.
It used to be a profession. You had to be qualified to be within that, you know. I mean nursing, vocation, you know, it was a vocation,
Yeah.
above and beyond a profession.
Yeah.
It was a profession, but it was a vocation as well. Social care is a vocation. You know, quite clearly when you're out with Gary and you work with Gary, you care about what happens to Gary, and that's fundamental for me. You know, so I think a lot of people that get into social care now aren't qualified enough, they aren't experienced enough, they haven't got the right reasons for coming in. Oh, I need a job. That's not enough, you know, because the client has to then contend with that malpractice, that poor outlook, agendas. You know, we remember that one with somebody who said about taking someone to the floor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I thought, how has it got to that point? That person was interviewed, should have been on probation, yet here they are talking about
taking
a client
to the floor.
in an abusive way. You know, so I think it's got to go right back to the drawing board, a complete tabula rasa, have people like Nigel and Gary involved, you know, a think tank, say, right, okay, what do you require, Gary? What do you require, Nigel? What would work best for you? You know, and get it moving because it's not working.
It isn't, and I mean, and that's nothing against people, you know, that go into these jobs and want to better themselves, and I get that. It's just that, like, years ago, it was always the way. You had to have a certain amount of qualifications. I mean, I remember going for finance jobs in the early days, and I had to get an O level and then an A level just for the basics, just to get a basic job. Now, I just don't understand how people in care, they go into care, they have no qualifications in care, they have no experience in care, and yet they get a job. How does that happen? How does that work? You know, if a director went for a job, he would not be somebody that couldn't do that job unless you wouldn't go for the job.
Yeah, but I think on the other side of that is, and I know this because there's many people come into the world of social care, they do really well.
Yeah.
You know, Dave's one of the ones that I would highlight as that. There's a number of people who've come in that weren't qualified, but then they worked in a certain way, they were supervised in a certain way, they had a certain way about them, where they became a good social care practitioner, you know. I don't think that social care, say the one-to-one would say Gary and Dave when they're out and about and things, you need to be heavily qualified, but I think the training, the actual training that should take place is too wishy-washy now, and it's too fast-tracked, and you do e-learn and things like that. You have to really be in a situation where a good experienced manager can see if that person's really right for the job.
Yeah.
And there used to be a time where you were on probation for a while before you actually were signed off as you know, okay, we'll give you the job now. And in that 6 months or thereabout, whatever the probation period was, you would find out if that person was right for the job. Now that one I mentioned earlier there about taking someone off the floor, if that person was still on probation, they'd be sacked. End of.
Yeah, and I mean, in other jobs, what would happen is, say for instance, you only had a certain amount of qualifications or experience, you could get a job, but the part of that job is you went through training within the company.
Yeah, trained up.
And sometimes it was 2 years, and if you did not pass those exams and you didn't get through your training and then put that into work and develop and such like, you didn't keep the job. And that's how it went.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not like you're putting a lot of pressure on people, but if you're going into work, surely there has to be a standard.
So in the absence of standards, then, are you saying that there's not enough consideration given to the world of social care provision?
I don't think so. I've not seen it. I haven't seen...
Anybody can do it then?
Yeah, I haven't seen any kind of standards. I mean, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having a kind of levels of training. You know, say for instance somebody wants to do this kind of level of training that can work with these kind of people. You have different tiers, and that's everybody's choice. You shouldn't be forced into certain tiers of training and understanding and working with more complex people, and that's how we would work. You have people who could work with certain types of conditions, and then it goes further on and so forth. That's how it should work. That's how it works in corporate companies. So why isn't it working like that in care?
Yeah, because it's fundamentally wrong all the way around. Basically, one part affects the other. One question for Dave, because obviously I keep singing Dave's praises. He does actually pay me after.
Not a lot.
Dave, on that, and Trey's right. You've come in from a background of automotive, and you've come into a world of social care where you work with people with Asperger's, mental health problem, etc. What would you have required, or perhaps you got, when you joined the world of social care?
I got a bit of a lecture from a certain person not too far away from us. If you remember that conversation, I thought, wow. Good morning. But having said that, I must have been lucky, because I did actually do a few shadow shifts with yourself, so I learned a lot. But I think mainly there was a lot of common sense. We'd been in the automotive trade, you met a lot of people, and you sort of build up, well, I would like to think, this common sense of how people like to be treated, how you like to be treated, and it's actually just the same thing as in the social as normal people, whatever you call normal people.
So should anybody at all be seen to carry out acts of malpractice a year, 2 years down the line within social care?
Not really, no.
So what should have taken place then, prior to that?
If anybody ever, again, I was told this fairly early and it stuck. If you ever get in that position, just get out. If you fail, you can't. I don't quite know how to put this, but if you get into that state, leave, go, just go. If you're failing towards your actual person that you're looking after, that you can't cope with it, just get out.
So what if you don't see that, or you don't think it's a problem? Who should deal with that?
Well, as I say, luckily the actual manager should actually pick the change of your mood, the different changes in the actual pattern of your actual working relationship with you.
So on that, Warthall, the abuse, Winterbourne. CQC went in 100 times within that year.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about a cancer that's gone right through social care.
Yeah.
Prior to that, there was Winterbourne.
Yeah.
Now, there were whistleblowers,
Yeah.
people that came forward and said
Yeah.
that we're a bit concerned here now, that things aren't right. If that's the case, and you're talking about a situation where someone can discern whether or not they're actually okay and then get out, other people come in that carry out malpractice actually don't care.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So if they aren't being managed properly and nobody's had them on probation or they've been interviewed sufficiently, because the
Yeah.
old days you had to have 2 interviews to get into social care.
Yeah.
There was formal and informal, we couldn't quite work out which is the difference by, because they were both quite difficult. So if it didn't happen in a big organisation like that, and you got Winterbourne as well, which I think was closed down,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think
You
so.
know,
That was disgusting, that night.
if you look back down, right, to the little acts of malpractice, the comments of which I mentioned earlier there, from a
Yeah.
client who actually should have been on probation, should have been interviewed properly. What you're saying to me now is that people actually do know sometimes that they should get out. Now, when you were told that by whoever it was it with the organisation with before?
Yeah.
Right. That doesn't stand up,
No.
because you're giving it to that person. Now, that doesn't work for me.
No.
If I'm managing an organisation, right, I can't say to you, right, if you feel as though you're getting a bit angry or you're getting a bit aggressive towards that client, leave. I'm going to sack you, basically, because you shouldn't be in the job, should he?
No. No, definitely not.
No, I think that what they're saying, if you lead yourself building up before you actually do anything, that's the time that you should get out.
But surely that should be getting picked up in supervision
yeah.
and stuff. I mean, if
Yeah, it
people
should happen
have-
early on,
yeah,
David.
if you have difficulties within, and again, this happens, the companies. If you're having difficulties, you have regular supervision, and where your team leader or manager will say to you, right, okay, I've been looking at such and such. Now I've noticed such and such, and can you talk to me about such and such? How do you get together, you talk it through. If you're having difficulties and you don't feel you can actually do the job, then that's the time when I'm
That's the time
sorry.
it should be flagged up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, you can't.
Yeah, down the line, it's too late to be offering somebody training when they've actually committed malpractice
Yeah.
or whatever.
We've overstepped the line.
Yeah, and a lot of that didn't happen going back in those 2 houses.
No.
It should have been picked up way back, and really, I mean, it's such as said with Gary and yourself, if I was managing that staff team, we'd regularly sit down together, and it wouldn't be Gary was more important than you. How's it going?
Yeah.
In an open forum, and Gary's I'm pissed off with what Dave's doing here now, for God's sake. Luckily, Gary does actually articulate anything that he doesn't like. With some people, he does it with you because he's got self-respect for you. Some other people he wouldn't say it to because
Yeah.
it's like a possible knock-on effect. But you would sit down, and also when you were employed, from day one right the way through, the relationship between yourself and Gary would be monitored.
Yeah.
I don't mean it like I'm watching you all the time, seeing what you're doing. I'll be sitting with you, and how's it going, Dave? Is it a bit difficult, or is there anything you want a hand with? That's how you work with social care.
But
And
it's
then Gary knows he's getting the right people working with him.
Yeah.
And Nigel, sorry.
And it's monitored with all the people that work with the individual clients. That should be how it is, because otherwise things that could go amiss, missed, even somebody could actually get into something and they're struggling and don't know how to say. That's the way it is, and sometimes somebody else has to say, well, I'm sorry, this isn't the job for you. You aren't able to do this job. And there's nothing wrong with that, because
No, at the end of
that's
the
the way
day,
it
it
is,
is a
huh?
complex.
No, absolutely,
you have to
and
know,
that's why you can't just get anybody in.
No.
You've got to make sure you've got the right people.
Yeah.
What was the old 80s one about the square roll and things? What was that? Employment training? You can't, what was it?
Fanficus. Square all in a round. No, square.
Square roll.
Square in a hole. A square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, geometry wasn't really Dave's strong point. So, we said 10 minutes and we've overrun as usual, but it's been really good actually. There's a lot of good stuff come through there. Anybody got any parting comments before we round off? Gary's probably going to say it's lunchtime. Any final comments, Gary, on that? Because you've come up with quite a few good ones. Can I ask you one question then before we finish?
Yeah.
If you could choose a staff team, a core staff team that you've got regularly,
Yeah.
and the only time it changes perhaps if somebody was on holiday or they were ill,
Oh, yeah.
would you like that? Would you expect that?
Aye, yeah.
Nigel, would you expect that?
Yeah.
Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, ideally, because you know, if obviously, what do you call it?
Ask her.
I don't know. Oh, that word that you can't find.
That
Therapeutic relationship? Rapport?
rapport. It works. It builds up.
Absolutely.
It builds up the trust.
Yeah.
Because you have to trust them and they have to trust you,
And also a core team will communicate
core team,
better between each other about how it's going with the clients.
yeah,
Core teams are crucial.
yeah.
In any integrated care system, you do need
Yeah.
good, strong core team members that
Yeah.
work well with clients.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't have thought that was rocket science, to be honest.
No.
Would you? What are your thoughts on that, Trey?
Oh, definitely. Because can you imagine, you know, if you have a core team that works well together and works well with the clients, if somebody is on shift and something goes wrong or there's been some difficulties or notice things, they communicate well with the next person's coming in, right, okay, or maybe with one or two others, they get together and say, right, okay, we've got this difficulty, how can we work together? It's not just individuals working with the client, it's a team that's working with the client.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any parting shots, Nigel, before Nigel's going to sleep? He's obviously had a hard day yesterday on that bus.
No,
Nothing?
nothing.
Lucy, do you want to add anything to it, or you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, thank you, folks. Check out this eventually on the SS2 blog and check out the Facebook page. And any good comments we'll take, any bad ones we'll totally ignore. I want to thank Dave for his very enlightening points. Gary, thank you. Trey,
Thank you.
again, thank you, Nigel. I think we'll say that's a wrap.